Hi guys, my name's Amir and I'm here for the very first Economic Street podcast. I'm here today with Ola and he's just going to tell us a little bit about why he started Economic Street, just a little bit of background about himself and why he thinks it's necessary to have things such as Economic Street out there. Cool, let's just get started.
Cool, sweet. So my background is in economics. I studied economics at uni at Kent. Then I went on to do a master's in economics at Cambridge. And then I trained and chartered as a qualified accountant. So I did that for 3 years.
Yeah.
Then I sort of came to a crossroads. What do I do next? I don't really want to stay in this career. Number one, I've always been quite entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
I'm Nigerian background, and I always say you'll never find a more entrepreneurial group of people per capita than Nigerians. And
Really?
so all of us just like the hustle.
Yeah.
So I came to those crossroads, and I was just thinking what to do next. At the time, I was involved in a couple of big projects, infrastructure projects, like grand ideas to do some work in Africa, but they just went south very quickly.
Really?
And around about the same time, the funny thing is that, like I said, I have a background in economics, but after my master's, I just became very disillusioned with it all.
Why is that?
I just thought it was, if I'm being frank, I thought it was kind of a BS science.
Yeah.
So, back in the day, economics used to be quite artsy, like an arts, humanities.
More politics.
More politics.
More towards the politics side,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
More the way you think, rationalize things are going in the economy and society. Then it became very scientific. They tried to make it a social science, added a bunch of maths, added a bunch of assumptions that don't hold true in real life. Just to try and jazz it up and make themselves, I feel, more clever than they actually are. And it was during my master's, I was just kind of, all this stuff that you do, you're trying to pigeonhole life and real life situations into a bunch of assumptions that will not hold. So basically, you're building models to try and predict something that will happen in real life. Around a set of assumptions that, number one, are not adequate enough and cannot really account for human sentiment, the human psychology. I mean, there's branches of economics that do that, like behavioral, but it's still not, it doesn't go deep enough. So I came to an impasse. I became disillusioned after my master's with it. But then around the time I was qualifying as an accountant in 2015, like I said, I came to, I'd started to redevelop my interest in economics.
Yeah.
And then just one thing led to another. So the first thing that happened was that towards the end of 2015, me and a bunch of guys set up a WhatsApp group, talking finance, business, economics. I just started dropping gems, little nuggets, how things work and stuff, and I saw they took to it. This time I still wasn't thinking too much of it, and then little by little, someone told me that they just felt that they just said 2 words to me: economic forum, because I'm a Christian, I'm a believer. We're praying one day, and they were like, I just heard this word, this phrase, economic forum.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that at that time I'd been thinking of trying to go to Davos, for the World Economic Forum, and doing the Nigerian one. So I wasn't. That's what I was just thinking. I was just thinking, okay, now I see why I'm beginning to gain an interest in this.
Yeah.
Fast forward, I just went away and did some soul searching. What does this mean? And bit by bit, I just started to identify a gap in the market. Like I said, predominantly through the WhatsApp group, I saw how these bunch of guys were really eating up what I was dropping in the group, all this wisdom, all this knowledge, and I saw that there's an appetite for it. Now, now how do you feed that appetite in a way through a business venture or through a social venture? And that was really the inception of Economic Street. Like I said, that was October, and then I think from then on, it was just bit by bit the vision unfolded. So February, I think, was when the name kind of came about, Economic Street. I'd been talking to my mom, and just trying to brainstorm ideas with my family, and they were dropping names that we could use. And one she said was street economics, and I just thought that was a bit too street for me. Funny thing is that I looked for the domain, it wasn't available, and then a light bulb just went off and said, switch the words around.
To Economic Street.
To Economic Street, and it was available to my surprise. I was like, no one's ever had this. Okay, and then from there, started building. So we went away, approached Nick, my business partner, who couldn't make it today. I said, do you want to, get involved with this? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. Because like me and Nick go way back. We go back 11 years. Uni. He has an economics background as well and a finance background, and it just made sense. Like we had that knowledge, we had that ability, and we also had a passion for helping people with their finances and just really understanding how to manage their finances better, especially because. Sorry if I'm rambling a little bit.
This is your story. This is your story.
Yeah. So I mean, we discovered like since the recession, 2008, 2009, life became very hard for millennials, particularly millennials. For a lot of individuals and families, but more so millennials. I remember I graduated with the first from uni, and the only job I could get was in a call center.
Wow.
So. Imagine if I'm in that situation, what other people my age are like.
Must be heartbreaking, yeah.
It was heartbreaking.
After all that hard work.
Yeah. It was humbling. You begin to question, like, is education really worth it and all that? And then, to compound matters, like, when we're at uni, a lot of our friends got into bad financial habits. Like, just... Will blow, they will blow their...
I've just graduated.
Exactly.
Everyone's done the same thing.
Exactly. They'll blow their student loan on going out.
Yeah.
To the point that some of them will even forget to pay their accommodation. And then what happened was the landlord took them to court, small claims court, whacked what's called a CCJ, which is a county court judgment against a credit report. Okay. And people don't really realize the ramifications of stuff like that, their actions and consequences. So having something like a CCJ stays on your credit score for 6 years, can't get a mortgage. Really? It's going to be difficult to get a mortgage. It's going to be difficult to get a loan. It's going to be difficult to get access to finance and credit. And the whole financial system and economic system is built on credit. We all need credit. Credit is the ability to borrow now and pay back at a later date once you have the money. And that's why we're all able to, buy houses through mortgages and stuff. So you now not paying...
So all of that happened. Just kind of one mistake at university. Okay.
Led to that.
Why do you think that schools don't prepare us for that? For this kind of stuff?
I think it's a very good question. One I still struggle to answer, but a couple of ideas I have is number one, once society has been modeled around a particular system, i.e., you need this to get this far, or you've created a production line for people. You don't tend to deviate from that. What I mean by production line, you're expected to go to school, do your basic maths, English, science, and then look for, if you're clever enough, go down a career path. So be it law, medicine, engineering, banking, accounting. Or if you're not clever enough, you go down and look for vocational training. Now, schools, because of that, and because the education system has been set up like that, it's almost like, can you now change it? Do you change it? And that is my biggest problem with the education system. They're not adequately preparing people for life. You're not giving them the core skills. I mean, I think home economics should be taught like as early back as the 60s, 70s. That's no longer in the curriculum. How many places teach that kind of stuff? Practical home skills.
We never had any of that in school.
Exactly.
I left school about 5 years ago now. And
they don't teach these things. People don't know about basic banking, current account, debit, credit cards. They don't know about saving and investing. Things that, we spend most of our life chasing money. Well, however you want to break it down, you go to work for money. So you can buy food, so you can go on holiday, so you can look after your family. Everything revolves around money. Yet you're not teaching core skills around finance. So for me, that was also the gap in the market that we identified. How do we fix this? How do we improve financial literacy and financial education to make sure that people, especially off the back of the worst financial recession since the 1930s, how can we help people better themselves through financial education and financial literacy to make smarter decisions with the money that they do make? Because ultimately, like I said, since the recession, now things are a lot worse. Like in terms of it's harder to get a decent salary. Plus, like the cost of living is going up all the time. With inflation, so everybody we're being squeezed. We're being forced onto taking out credit cards and loans and payday loans that we can't really afford. And it's like it's a vicious cycle.
Vicious cycle.
And it's responsible for financial worries. It's responsible for a lot of stress, a lot of depression, and a lot of divorce. So all for this thing, all for a paper that we will not take beyond this life. But yet we spend the entirety of our life chasing after
Working
it.
for it,
It's a
and then
paradox.
yeah,
I can't rationalize it, but hey,
okay,
that's where we are.
Okay.
And that was literally the
yeah,
birth behind Economic Street.
okay. And say in 20 years' time, where do you see Economic Street, and where do you see a ideal world where everyone is financially literate?
In 20 years, I would like to see we have plans to be global. Especially now with the digital economy, it's the digital age. You have to connect with people through social media, through the internet. So for us, is being able to create a sort of a vehicle or forum for people to be educated through, whether that be e-learning modules or being, I don't know, online lectures that you can watch and download, or
Yeah,
attending those kind of online courses. That's something that we'd like to do. But more so, we would also like to see people engaging and interacting with each other financially through Economic Street and the use of digital technology. What I mean by that is, like I said, okay, our focus when we're building Economic Street, we built the business model around millennials, even though it's not just for millennials. One thing about millennials is that we like to crowdsource information. Like, we don't mind going to our mates and saying, mate, okay, how do you do this? Or how do I improve my credit rating? Or how do I get a mortgage? Or how do I get on that? We are that generation.
yeah.
Like,
Very social. We ask around.
Exactly.
Everyone we know for
Exactly.
what's that?
We're not really paying for things. No one can afford that.
Yeah.
We're just trying to get by. So for us, that would be part of the advantage of Economic Street, being able to pull people from all over the world to share information, knowledge, so that we can all grow, make better decisions, make smarter decisions, and hopefully have become financially independent to, really then go out and live our dreams, our real dreams, our passions, rather than just, giving up on them for the sake of security and chasing money in order to just get by in life.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Ola. I think for me, even as a 21-year-old, I think this stuff is very important for everyone to learn, not just people like me, people older, people younger. Like, we need to get a head start at a very young age. Anyway, thanks for listening in. This has been the first episode. Catch our next one on cryptocurrency and what that means for us. Thank you, guys.